Hi guys, welcome to a video about a recap of 2020 where I'm going to be picking out probably my five best moments of fishing last year. There are many more, of course, we can delve into all sorts of things, but five memorable moments for me last year, 2020, that I'm going to go through with you guys. One of the things I love about fishing is not just catching the fish itself and getting your photos with them, but creating the memories as well. There's always, the one that got away, or, things that I did, the way I changed my tactics to catch a certain fish, or the way I was having such a bad day and just as I was about to pack up, the rod goes screaming off or whatever. Those kind of things. And this is a massive reason as to why I love fishing. It's not just being by the side of the lake or the river or any body of water in the summer with the sun shining down. It's just getting away from it all and just sitting there chilling out. It's so peaceful and relaxing. But yeah, some of these like things that happen when you're fishing are incredible and they stick with you forever and you create some insane memories. And that is where I want to go with this video. I want to go and talk about, again, like I say, 5 moments from last year that really stuck with me. Starting off with number one. So what happened was basically I did a lot of fishing when I was younger. I did a lot of fishing because of my brother. He was very much into fishing, watched a lot of John Wilson, Matt Hayes on the TV and things like that. Now he's under a tree, literally under a tree, flicking his bread out. You just free line, honestly, you just free line a bit of floating bread. That's all you have to do there. You don't need you don't need float split shots. You don't need to feed a fish. You don't need to pole fish. You can, of course, but literally it's the easiest fishing. All you need is a rod, a reel, a hook, and some bread, and you're away. And I remember Rob was right under this tree, and we had a little friendly competition there where we got a trophy, and basically the biggest fish takes a trophy, which my cousin owns at the moment. But he's under this tree, and it's a little bit windy, and the tree's sort of battering him in the face, but he's dangling his bread right under this tree because he's seen a pair of lips come up, and before you know it, the carp comes up, sucks his bait under, bang, he wallops into it, and he's in. At the same time, I'm fishing a little bit further down the lake from him. I'm fishing towards the lilies, and bang, we're both into a fish. And now, the reason why this sticks with me is because the fish are only 4 or 5 pounds. I think his one was a little bit bigger than mine, but that's what she said, careful. But no, just the reason why things like this stick with me is because if you've ever hooked up on a lake at the same time as your mate or your brother or your cousin or anything, it's so good because you're both there, you're both catching fish, it's just great. Look at the pictures, me and my brother there with our fish, and it's a memory that sticks with me. I think more so the fact with my brother because he was the one that sort of got me into fishing or taught me a lot of things about fishing, and sort of, we grew up doing fishing sort of thing. So it was nice to be able to go with him. He's got a very busy lifestyle now, so I can't always get out with him. I think that might have been like 1 or 2 times that we went last year. So it's not often we get to go together. So when we hooked up at the same time, it was awesome. Do you know what I mean? It's brilliant. It's great sport. Number 2, guys, is this ghost carp that I caught. And now this ghost carp, this was an insane fish to catch. Look at this carp. Look at this ghost carp right here. Now, ghost carp are my favourite type of carp to catch because they're just a little bit different, aren't they? And there's not as many of them as about. Common carp, mirror carp, obviously, it's easy to catch them. Well, sorry, it's not easy to catch them, but anybody can go and catch them. Anybody can go and catch a ghost carp, but when you're reeling it in and you see the skull-like head come up through the water and you got a ghost carp, it's just awesome. I think they look great. I love them. And the thing that's so special about this ghost carp is me and my cousin decided that we were going to go fishing on this day. I think it was back in July, and we were going to go to a lake which has a lot of stock of ghost carp. And if you want to go and catch ghost carp, it's a brilliant place to go. And we were going to go there. And I think it was either a bank holiday or some sort of holiday, and it was so hot, or it was a weekend, or I don't know, but it was a busy day, and we decided that we weren't going to go straight away in the morning because we work 12-hour shifts, so it's nice to sometimes have a lie-in on your day off. So sometimes we decide to go a little bit later. Where we're not actual carp fishermen, we don't have to go down there, set up bivvies and tents and rod pods and things like that. in that specific lake as well. It's just a case of you can spend a couple of hours there and catch fish, very much like the lake that me and my brother went to. But when we got there, we turned up and it was rammed. There was cars everywhere, and we thought, oh, like crying out loud. Do you know what I mean? Like we wanted to spend a couple of hours here, catch a nice ghost carp, and bugger off home. That's all we wanted to do. But we walked around a lake and there was one swim available, and I said to him, look, do we really want to fish here? There's one swim available, two of us. We could have done it, but in all honesty, it was we were just sort of put off by how busy it was, and we decided we weren't going to fish there. So we actually went back to one of our other favourite lakes, Windwhistle in Romsey, and we fished there. And the insane thing about this is that by the time we'd set up, because we decided, obviously, when we went to Windwhistle, we decided to use our poles. Now, obviously, when you fish with poles, it takes a little bit more time to set your gear up than it does if you're just fishing with a rod and reel. You got to get your seat box out and your rollers, and bring your pole out, put your sections together, plant. You know what I mean. It takes longer. So by the time we'd done that, we only knew we had like 2 or 3 hours left to fish, and it turned out not being a very good fish. We ended up catching a couple of little silvers or whatever. My cousin decided to. He prepared what he thought was luncheon meat the night before, because we were obviously going for the ghost carp, and little did he know that he'd actually bought corned beef, and it was hilarious because he was saying like, I swear when I used to use luncheon meat, it was easier to get on the hook than this. And I was like, what are you on about? Luncheon meat's easy to get onto just cut it up into squares. And he's going, but it's like mushy. And I was thinking, oh, maybe it's got wet or something. And I've gone over there, I looked, and it's corned beef. Like I could smell it straight away. I was like, that's not luncheon meat, mate. That's corned beef. And he was like, oh, what a joke, and all this sort of stuff. Because he doesn't often fish with luncheon meat. He usually uses like sweet corn or pellet or whatever. So I was like, no, that's all right, no worries. And he was like, oh, do you know what? I'm not interested. Do you want it, sort of thing? And I thought, well, yeah, I think I could do something with it. So I took his corned beef, and I thought, look, it smells so meaty. I've never used corned beef for carp before, but I thought surely a carp is going to take corned beef. So I've decided to mix it all together, squeeze it up into a ball, and I've decided I just got into margin fishing as well. So I was really into my margin fishing at the time, and I saw a big tree on my left, and I thought, that's where it's going. I'm going to bait up that area. I'm going to carry on fishing out with my pole in the middle, try and bag a few more silvers, and then I'm going to head into where I'm stocking up that margin with the corned beef. So I've lobbed the corned beef in there. It stinks. It smells. You can see it in the water all breaking away and making like a cloud of as it does when you throw in sort of like a ground bait sort of thing. And it was coming towards the end of the day, and it was about the last hour. The sun was not starting to go down, but you could tell, like, obviously how in the summer, when your day's coming to an end. Do you know what I mean? And I thought, right, it's time to get into the margin. I saw a couple of swirls in there and stuff, so I knew the fish were in there. I've gone in there. It's no more than a foot deep. I've gone in there, and bearing in mind we had a bad day, we didn't go to the venue where we first wanted to go to catch the ghost carp. We ended up going to a different lake where, we caught a few silvers, but it was not a great day. Definitely not a session to remember until this happened. Right, I've gone in there into the margin. And I think I must have had pellet or something, or maybe some meat or something. I don't know what I had. I had something on the hook anyway, and the float's gone, bang, like that, right? I've hooked into it, elastic's gone pouring out, yada yada yada. I'm into a big fish. I'm like, here we go. This is what I've been waiting for. As soon as I saw what fish it was, you could see the skull-like head come up of a ghost carp, and I was like, what are the chances of this? Honestly, like, it's written in the stars. And that is the ghost carp there that I caught from Jordan's corned beef. So I owe him that. And I'm definitely going to be using corned beef again if it works. Which, obviously it has. So, it's things like that you learn. And that's why it's another memory that stuck with me. Because the whole point that we were going to catch ghost carp, we couldn't catch ghost carp. We went to somewhere else where we had a bad day, end up catching what we went for in the first place, which was awesome. Really loved it. Incredible fish, and it's definitely one of my favourite fish of last year. Now the third memory I want to talk about is, I'm just going to brush over this memory quickly. It is a fish to remember, but it's nothing to write home about. Well, it depends how you look at it, right? It's not a big fish. It's not an incredible fish, right? To any angler, it's just a normal fish, but it's a barbel. Now, I've never ever caught a barbel before. Jordan and I went to orchard for the first time last year, and when we went there, there was a match around the outside of the Snake Lake, and they've got like a big. So basically, the Snake Lake goes like a big S, but when they have matches there, they fish. Sorry, it's like a U with like. It's not an S, is it? It's like a U. Oh, it's hard to explain. It's like a horseshoe lake, but it's got like a strip up the middle. Can you get an S out of it? Maybe you can't. Anyway, yeah, it's like a U-shaped. Let me quickly draw you what it's like. So it goes around like that. Oh no, okay, it's like an E. There we go. This is what the lake looks like. So you've got a match going on around the outside of the lake here, and up the middle, the match doesn't use those swims, but you can't use the last swims this side because obviously you don't want to interfere with the match. So Jordan and I were fishing about halfway up, and when we're fishing, we got to the end of the day. We'd had a great day. We bagged up on carp, and I think they have a lot of like what are they called? They're like well, they're obviously F1s, and then they've got like this golden fish. I don't know if they're like golden orf or what. Crucian carp, loads of them. We had a great day, and when we heard people bagging up for the match, somebody said they caught a barbel, and I said to Jordan, I looked at Jordan, I was like, did you just say you caught a barbel? And Jordan was like, yeah, imagine catching one of them. I was like, you don't catch a barbel in here. Barbel are river fish, they need moving water. And Jordan's gone, no, he's definitely said he's caught a barbel. And I was like, that's weird, sort of thing. Anyway, so next time we went, I said to the bailiff, I said, or the guy that worked in the tackle shop, I said to him, is there barbel in this lake, the lake that we were fishing? He was like, yeah, we stocked loads of barbel in there. Do they not need running water? And he was saying, like, it's a misconception. Like, that's obviously where they originate from, rivers and streams and running water. But you can keep barbel in a stillwater lake or a stillwater venue. Now, there's questions over whether you're meant to or not. Is it hard? Is it harsh on the fish and stuff like that? But if they go in there quite young, I think they adapt to the surroundings that they're in. I don't know. I don't know what my opinions are on that. At the end of the day, as long as they're fit and healthy and all's good, then that's fine by me. But I'd never realised, like, because I'd never caught a barbel before, and I was like, I really want to catch a barbel. So I was fishing with pellet. I was trying to catch one with maggot. I was trying to catch a barbel with maggot because I was like, surely they're more likely to take a maggot than a pellet. And I remember I was fishing with maggot, and I was just catching F1s, crucian carp, silverfish, bream, roach, and things like that. And I was thinking, how do I get one of these barbel? I really don't know. I was so amazed at how well they fight. This little fella was the first barbel that I ever caught, and the fight that he put up for the size of him, unbelievable. And it made me want to get down to rivers in this year and fish for some barbel and some nice chub as well. I really want to get into river fishing this year, feeder fishing, river fishing, and catching some nice barbel. That's really what I want to do this year. Okay, so going on to memory number 4 is this mirror carp that I caught. Check it out here. This mirror, it's beautiful. This is probably my number 1 on my favourite fish that I caught last year. It's not the biggest fish I caught last year. It's the second biggest fish, but it's beautiful. And I know for sure if I caught that fish again, judging by the patterns on it, I would know if I caught that fish again. I don't know if it's named. I'm not sure. But when you catch a fish like that on a pole, I think I caught that on a... was it a 15 to 18 elastic? I think it was something like that. But I don't use a side puller on my pole. I'm still old school. I don't use a side puller. I don't fish matches at the moment. So, I'm in no rush to get fishing as quickly as possible. I just enjoy the fight. But this thing put up a hell of a fight. I caught him again in the edge, closer into the lilies. I think it was on corn or pellet. And I just remember he was all over the lake. And the most important thing for me is when I hook a fish, because when we fish, this was at Wind Whistle again, and when we fish there, we know there's some big fish in that lake. So as soon as you hook one, they always go for the lilies, but you have to fish to the lilies to catch a big fish. So that's a bit of a catch-22. But so every time you hook one, you strike, but you strike away from the lilies. And as soon as the float went under, I've gone whack. But because I was fishing the margin by the lilies, I didn't have a lot of room to play this fish. So I had to hook him, And as I've hooked him, I've had to drag him out of the lilies to keep him away from the lilies. Then I've had to put pole sections on my pole and push him out into the middle of the lake where I could play him. When he was tired, then I could bring him in, keep him away from the lilies, and then get him in. But where I don't use a side puller, obviously when I'm trying to get him in and he's weighing, I think he weighed in at £10.3, and I'm lifting it up, and as I'm trying to get his head up, obviously the elastic's pouring out. I don't have a side puller to get the tension on my elastic, and I'm trying to get his head up, and it took me so long to get him in, and my arm was knackered, honestly, so knackered. When I fish very weird, because most people, when they pole fish, like I'm right-handed, so I fish with my pole in my right hand. But whenever I seem to net a fish, I always move the top section to my left hand and net with my right hand, whereas most people keep it in the right hand and net with their left hand. But I don't know, for me, because I'm right-handed, I want to use the net on my right hand, because this is just a supporting hand. So I get very mixed up and confused sometimes. It does lead to some silly moments, honestly, like the amount of times I've nearly broken my pole on my landing net. But yeah, I'm like this. My arm is feeling like it's going to drop off. I'm knackered. I'm trying to lift this up whilst I've been playing it. Must have been playing it for 20 minutes, half an hour. And one of the blokes that worked in the shop shouted across to me, "Where's your side puller?" And I've gone, I don't use a side puller. And he's given me the whole, oh, you should use a side puller, things like that. I'm very much an advocate for let fishermen do what they want to do, If I don't want to use a side puller, that's fine. I don't want to. If he wants to, that's fine. He can. Everyone has their own style of fishing. And for me, at the moment, I don't want to use a side puller. I might do this year. I might convert or give it a go and see if I like it. But this time, I was not using a side puller. And he's going, bearing in mind I've been playing this fish 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever. My arm feels like it's going to drop off. And he's going, "You should have a side puller on there." I'm thinking, please, just keep yourself to yourself, mate. I'm trying to land this fish. And it's all up under me, under the swim and stuff, by my feet. And he's going, "If you had a side puller, he wouldn't be there. You'd be able to pull him out." And I was thinking, I'm going to whack this guy in a minute. Anyway, I ended up landing him, bang, weighed him up. £10 got this lovely photo. What a fish, incredible. Obviously not a good way to remember the bloke shouting across me at the other side of the lake, but a beautiful fish, probably my favourite fish of last year, and that was in the summer as well. I think that was in September sort of time. And now, guys, the last fish of last year that I want to talk about is the mirror carp. It's the biggest fish that I've ever caught on a pole. It's the biggest fish that I caught last year, and it could possibly be the biggest carp I've ever caught. I'm not sure. I definitely caught one when I was younger, from Kings Lake out. It was a long time ago. I was very young, and I remember I didn't weigh it. I don't know how big it is, and there is a photo of it somewhere, and I think something tells me it was about £13, which isn't big. Being an angler, you guys might be thinking, oh, his biggest fish is £13, but guys, I pole fish. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not out there for big carp. I want to catch a nice tench or a nice bream or even carp, but like the ghost carp or the mirror carp that I just caught. It doesn't bother me whether I catch a 40-pound carp, which I'm probably not going to do on my pole. I would rather just go and enjoy my day's fishing. Do you know what I mean? I'm a match angler. This was caught at Manor Farm, which is now called Frank's Lake, in memory of the bailiff who used to own the lake. He's now unfortunately not with us anymore. But I remember I used to fish this lake with my brother years ago, and I hadn't fished it for a while, and things had changed a lot. There's a lot of trees have sort of overgrown, and a lot of weeds have appeared, and the lilies seem to be there was a bigger area covered by lilies, but they were sort of dying. So yeah, it was very different to how I remember it. It was a real bad day. I caught one fish that day. I think it was a perch. It was a little perch. Took a bit of sweet corn, believe it or not. But yeah, it was only a little perch, you know what I mean? And it was a real bad day, and it was still warm. This was in August, so it was warm. And I remember fishing with my pole again, and there was a fish like just chilling in the lilies down to my left, but I couldn't see how big he was really. I knew it was a carp because I could see his face, but he wasn't laying flat across the water. He was like laying at an angle, and he was just sort of like cruising, and he was just like moving his mouth open and closed, and he was just like just chilling, enjoying the sun. And I thought, I wonder if I can mug him here. Like, I know it's frowned upon. I know a lot of people don't like doing it, but I thought, I'm having a bad day. I haven't caught anything. I'm going to give it a go. So I've got a bit of sweet corn and I've dangled it, literally dangled it in front of his mouth. And I don't even think he's even gone for my bait. I don't think he's gone for it. Just where he's opening and closing his mouth, naturally water is going in and out of his mouth. And I think I've dropped my sweet corn right in front of his face, and I don't even think he's gone for the bait. But he sucked it in, and as it's gone in, I've hooked him, and then all hell broke loose. Honestly, I think I had 12 to 14 elastic on or something stupid. I don't think I had my top kit, or I might have had my top kit. Either way, it didn't really matter because this fish just bolted, and it was an absolute nightmare. He was going everywhere. I was trying to put sections on, take sections off, trying to keep him at lilies. I had the match watching me because they saw what had happened, and they were having a bad day as well because that lake last year I think had trouble with oxygen in the water, and it turned the fish a bit funny. Like they weren't biting like they used to. And I knew I was under pressure because I knew they were all watching me, and I was tripping over my pole and trying to get sections back on and trying to get my landing net and trying to keep them at lilies, and it was all going on at once. It was an absolute nightmare. Anyway, I did manage to get him in, and here he is. He was 11 pounds and 12 ounce, just short of 12 pounds. Incredible fish. And I remember I asked the bloke that was pleasure fishing in the swim next to me to come and help me net it, take a photo for me, which is this photo here. And again, another fantastic mirror carp. It's incredible. It's the biggest fish I've caught on that pole. And that's definitely another one that I will remember. But anyway, guys, that has been it for this video. If you did enjoy it, obviously South Coast Angler, this is a new rebranded version of A3 Angling. So if you do want to see any more videos going forward, I know this has been a bit of a long one. I've just been going through some memories and stuff. But this year, I do want to take the camera down to the banks with me. I want to get plenty of footage of not just myself fishing, but my cousin, my brother potentially, my uncle, and anyone that I go with. And not just that, I don't just want to film the fishing. I want to film the venues and what's about, and just sort of open up your eyes to what's out there, what you can do, and just create some awesome fishing content. I'd also love to film more style videos like this, where I could have somebody sat next to me in this chair, going through some stories that they've got as well regarding fishing. So I know it's been a long one, but thank you for watching. If you are still watching, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe so you don't miss any more videos, and I'll see you next time.